Hello, everyone. Brett the Comic Novice here, and today I'm going to be looking at two of the most recent Dawn of the DCU titles that came out for Wednesday, March 29th. The latter one will be the Unstoppable Doom Patrol issue number 1, with some thoughts on that, but primarily Action Comics 1053. Just wow, the Superman titles have just gone from strength to strength. Well, primarily the main two ones, with Superman Lost being something that I know little to none about through issue number 1, but am fully intrigued for 9 more issues. So that being said, we're going to turn the time over to this comic book to break down and discuss and review Action Comics 1053, and then we'll move on to the Unstoppable Doom Patrol issue number 1. So for the month of March, there are 3 actually Dawn of the DCU titles that came out, with Harley Quinn being the third one, with a new creative team. Now, I have not been fond of Harley Quinn in the comic form. Maybe I should look at it. Maybe I'll just wait a month for it to be on the DC Infinite Universe app. But besides that, I digress. So let's look at the Action Comics issue 1059. And I will tell you, within this story, there's a couple things that I think about. Like, for example, this story starts off with John Henry Irons leaving from his main headquarters, where he was up late night doing some work. And I'm curious how much Phillip Kennedy Johnson was working with Michael Dorn, not Dorf, the Worf from Star Trek. Anyway, I was curious how much he was working with him on the Steelworks comic that is going to be coming out, I believe, in June of 2023, because I feel as though I'm curious if the first couple pages not only sets up not only a Metallo attack, also Metallo's group that he abducted at the very end of 1052, but I'm curious if this sets up for what we're going to see going forward. So because of these issues right here, and because of the strength that I'm seeing, I'm actually very intrigued by what's going to happen for the John Henry Irons book. So again, the Superman titles are keeping me like really invested in what's going on in Dawn of the DCU. You could say that things are being slowly. And I think there's going to be a video coming out soon, because I think there's been some teases with the future Dawn of the DCU things that are going to be coming forward later on in the year. And some people would like them all at once. Other people, you know what? Don't hurry. Maybe hurrying is what got you the negative things with the New 52, according to many of the critics. So we get the reprieve from the previous issue, where the Metallo converted some of the Blue Planet group against their will, and they attacked John Henry Irons as well. And then the Superman family, or the Super family, came in to help save the day. Kara was attacked. And here's what I like. So a lot of these people these people that were converted by Metallo did not survive the fight between the Super family. However, what I really like is you have the Superman of China talking with our Superman, Clark Kent, and he is talking about what to do with these things. And, Clark Kent basically says, we need to help these people. Even if this is the last thing that we do, we owe it to them, because you know what? They might change their life around because of either they didn't know better, or maybe we can help further improve them. And again, one of the main things and aspects that I like about Superman, especially being written by Phillip Kennedy Johnson, is the hope, is the truth and justice and hope of the character of Superman. And I love that, because you could just let him go and, take assume responsibilities later, or, it was their decision that led them to that point, and it's their fault. So, what be as it may, what happened to them is on their head. Now, here's the one thing that I've been racking my brain about ever since reading 1052 and also Superman issue number 1 and 2. And that is, Lex Luthor, he is in prison. He is in Stryker's Island, and we know he has been trying to tell Superman about Parasite. And, you just go follow along, use this, LexCorp or now SuperCorp that he is left to him. What is going on with this? Why is he doing this in one book? And why is he basically having Metallo attack Superman and tell him to take out as many super family members as possible? And you have this good back and forth between Superman and Lex. And again, it is great banter between the two. They both talk about this and that. And, Lex basically says if he were to have Superman's powers, he would be the better Superman than Clark Kent. And again, left him kind of speechless to some extent. However, we get this discussion between Metallo and this not AI generated sister, but possibly some non-version of Metallo's sister talking to him. And we find out again through Lex that there's no reason why he should be hearing voices in this new body except, well, maybe, and then Lex trails off. And then we find out that perhaps maybe this, version of his sister is not actually a sister. And then we get the tease that actually the sister is being held captive, has so many things pin prodded and poked in her, being experimented on, being tortured. And you need to do this to the super family or else. To me, which means I think some of this stuff is coming from Warworld, which is intriguing because I believe, Lex. I'm curious when this voice entered in to Metallo, which wasn't Lex, because we had this set up to Metallo prior to, this series arc. So again, from strength to strength, I love this. Also, one of the things that just blew me away regarding this is because you could say, there was a little bit of a lull between actions because we had, the twins from Warworld that are now being adopted by Clark and Lois. And what I really like is the talk between Clark, Lois, the mothering, the fathering between these two twins. And then you find that it seems like maybe John Kent is kind of resenting them. And one of them even approaches him and saying, I'm sorry you don't like us. I think I'm being able to hear your thoughts. And it's going to be quite interesting to find out what happens at the very end of the adventures of John Kent, Superman, because could you say that he is going to leave Earth 1 or Earth Prime or whatever and go somewhere else because he's basically being replaced by these two kids? And it's more evident because he even admits, his childhood was stolen and, he sees the parenting that is going on between these two. And I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic going forward. Is this how they basically kind of right the wrong or sail John Kent away into a different Earth? Because, fans of the John Kent Superman were robbed of his being aged up by Brian Michael Bendis and also kind of, again, fast forwarded to again, criticize me if you'd like to, an unnatural situation that was set up by Tom Taylor just to get applause by social media. Again, I can't confirm nor deny that, but that is just a belief from what I read. I'm not criticizing it if you hate it. I'm just saying that that's what it seems to look like. And then again, what even paints the stronger picture is the second story that is written by Dan Jurgens, which takes place again before the Rebirth era. This also, again, we're getting this Doombreaker storyline that has been developed, again, through the Death of Superman pages. And then we have confronting Doombreaker. We have the abduction of John Kent, the 10-year-old version of him, who is saving a princess. And he's, you kind of almost wonder, again, childlike innocence. this is what a lot of fans are missing about the aged up John Kent Superman, which again possibly could leave for him, John Kent, 17-year-old Superman, to go to a different Earth, and we focus on the super twins and Connor Kent and Kara, maybe even, for better or for worse, Power Girl. I'm curious, so I didn't read the third story in this because it looks absolute garbage. Again, I'm so glad that this is the last that we're gonna see it. The art, I'm not a huge fan of. It looks like, to me personally, filters that you would see through a social media app. It just doesn't look natural. It doesn't look good. And you know what? If you want to find out whatever, I don't have no idea what is going on in this storyline, but if you want to find out what happens, there is a, you know, Power Girl one shot that I will not be reading that will be coming to conclusion with, hopefully, and then we'll move on and be happy with our lives. So then the next one I have is the Unstoppable Doom Patrol. Now, I am only familiar with Doom Patrol from the DC Universe, because I do say DC Universe because that's where I watched it originally. The first season of Doom Patrol on DC Universe, and I was underwhelmed to say the least, just because I didn't know anything about it, and there was a mystery, there was a hunt or whatever, and I feel as though it just was long and drawn out for season one, so I never went back and watched any of the other seasons. I don't know any of these characters besides the main three, which are, Robot Man, Negative Man. Well, okay, I take that back. Elastic Woman. And then you have the Chief, but this is Crazy Jane Chief, which I'm so grateful for some YouTuber to basically say that this is what happened because of the Lazarus Planet thing. So I didn't need to read that whole thing because I wasn't going to anyway. I like that, the Doom Patrol seems to be a tad bit sloppier of a superhero team, but they're likable and they're fun. There's some mayhem going down in Gotham. They're basically fighting a monstrosity that was the result of, and what I really like about this is one of the pages basically, again, we're having this fight between these people, not at Star Labs, but these people who are basically people who got exposed to the Lazarus Planet rain or whatever. They basically were given an option, and I love the billboard, got powers, need cash. So they willingly got themselves experimented on so that, they could get some extra dough. And I love what they said is, some people got powers and became superheroes. Some people got powers and became supervillains. Others became some sort of monstrosity. And again, you have the, Doom Patrol, which basically are these monstrous beings that, do help solve and fight crime. So I do like that. I do like the whole tying it in to the Lazarus Planet. And again, I guess you could say, quote unquote, red Lazarus Planet, and also not red Lazarus Planet at the same exact time. And one of these days I will get into how that is actually possible, and I 100% recommend it. By the end of the story, we get a brand new Doom Patrol member who I guess is probably going to assume the identity of what did he say? He's a degenerate. So what is his name? Is he the degenerate Doom Patrol person? I don't know. I don't know any of the backstory between the gorilla, the robot gorilla, and the dude that has something in the vial at the very end. So it's intriguing. I don't know anything, again, besides the Doom Patrol first series or whatever. Again, Action Comics, just strength after strength. I can't wait to find out what happens in the month of April for Superman issue number 3, as well as when we get to Action Comics 1054. The biggest disappointment for me personally is I wish both of these books were double shipping like The Flash. Again, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. What are your thoughts about Action Comics Superman, Superman in general, and Doom Patrol issue number 1? Should I be a little bit more excited about Doom Patrol than I actually was? I don't know. Maybe I should be. But you know what? Tastes are tastes. Likes are likes. Well, again, like this also. Shameless plug. Subscribe. whatever, not download. That's a podcasting thing. Maybe I should do a podcast, whatever. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I do appreciate it. Until next time, I will see you in the dollar section for New Comic Book Day. Uh, blah. Now, there were 3 titles that came out, but I'm. Hello, everyone. Brett the Comic Novice here, and today I'm going to itch my nose.